Welcome to Key Tech. Please describe this channel if you're interested in today's video. Lately, the news surrounding Nvidia's H20 chip has been incredibly exciting, with constant twists and turns. First, the US restricted exports to China, then Nvidia secured export licenses. But before it even started selling, it was summoned by mainland China. Recently, two more bombshells broke: Nvidia's decision to suspend H20 chip production and its plans to launch the B30A chip for the mainland market. Foreign media have called Huang Renshuan's actions too frustrating and stubborn. No wonder Huang Renshuan, during a CCTV interview, remarked that during his 33 years as Nvidia's CEO, he's been under constant pressure, feeling like they were on the verge of collapse. This tension never leaves him, not even for a second. The reason is that he carries the daily responsibility for the company, its customers, and the market, which is why he says being a CEO is mostly boring. On closer inspection, this is indeed the case. Just selling AI chips to mainland China has been fraught with setbacks. However, Huang Renshuan can't blame anyone else for these experiences. If he has to blame anyone, it's the repeated interference of the government and officials. A brief analysis reveals that every one of the numerous problems and challenges Nvidia faces is caused by the US government and its officials. First, there are restrictions on chip exports to China. This is the result of a comprehensive expansion of US chip export controls, effective October 2022, which restricted the export of Nvidia's H100 and A100 chips. The goal is to curb China's AI development and maintain its lead. But Nvidia refused to abandon the mainland Chinese market, and CEO Jensen Huang was persistent. He quickly launched special mainland-only versions of the H800 and A800 chips. After these shipments were later restricted, he launched a further watered-down H20, which was again subject to export restrictions in April of this year. Second, efforts to resume exports encountered obstacles. After more than 3 months, after Jensen Huang's proactive negotiations, the US finally agreed to issue an export license for the H20 chips to China. Huang was delighted and quickly visited China to win over more mainland Chinese customers. What he didn't expect was that US officials also spoke out, a truly unreliable teammate. The key point was US Commerce Secretary Lutnick, who publicly stated in an interview that resuming H20 exports was intended to create dependence on the Chinese mainland. And they wouldn't sell the best chips to China, not even the second or third best, but only the fourth best. Furthermore, there's the issue of backdoors in chips. As you know, secrecy is key, and leaks are key. The US Commerce Secretary actually mentioned these things. I wonder how he got to the position. I guess he's using them to show off how impressive their actions are. Since they've said this, China couldn't ignore it. So, the Cyberspace Administration of China swiftly intervened, directly summoning Nvidia to address the security vulnerabilities and backdoor issues in Nvidia's AI chips and demanding an explanation. Regarding this backdoor issue, the US has publicly stated that the technology is mature, and US lawmakers have publicly called on Nvidia to integrate tracking technology. And then there's the issue of the US Chip Commission. Now, the Cyberspace Administration of China has publicly summoned Nvidia, citing serious backdoor security issues as the key issue. This has already sent a clear signal: which Chinese company would dare defy such regulations and purchase products? At this time, Trump is demanding a 15% commission on Nvidia's H20 chip sales to China. Furthermore, Nvidia plans to raise the price of H20 chips by 18%, passing the commission on to Chinese buyers. This situation has made Chinese companies even more hesitant to purchase. As a result, tech media outlet The Information recently revealed that Nvidia has decided to suspend H20 chip production. It is said that Nvidia has already issued orders to packaging and testing service provider Emco and memory chip giant Samsung to suspend H20 chip production. Nvidia had originally planned to expand H20 chip production, but now it has no choice but to cut losses, otherwise its inventory will increase again. Of course, this is also due to the H20 chip's poor price-performance ratio, which no longer offers any advantages compared to Huawei's Ascend 910B chip. Therefore, another major news came: Nvidia plans to release an AI chip with even better performance than the H20, the B30A, based on the Blackwell architecture. Samples will be provided to Chinese companies for testing as early as next month, and the company is also seeking export licenses. In response, some foreign media outlets directly criticize Huang Renshuan for being too frustrated and too persistent. To continue selling AI chips to the mainland market, he has repeatedly modified the chips, and has been repeatedly subject to US export restrictions, which has caused him considerable additional trouble. It is precisely because of this situation that Huang Renshuan made those remarks in the CCTV interview. Their AI chip market share in the mainland was previously as high as 95%, but after US intervention, it has now dropped to less than 50%.